In this lesson, we are converting standard form to intercept form, and then we'll work backwards from that, converting intercept form to standard form. So example 1 is giving quadratic functions in standard form, and we want to convert to intercept form. Recall standard form is where you have y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And intercept form is where we have y equals a times x minus p times x minus q. So when we're asked to convert to intercept form, we're basically being asked here to factor. We want to convert to intercept form, which is kind of like our factored form. So part A, we've factored before. Notice there is no GCF here, and then I have 3 terms. So for any trinomial, I set up my puzzle. I do 1 times 4 on top. I do 5 on the bottom. I know 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 plus 1 is 5. So I then would divide by 1, and I have y equals 1x plus 4 and 1x plus 1. All right, and all we had to do was convert to intercept form, so that's it for part A. Part B, same thing. Notice one main difference here is we do have a lead coefficient of 3. So when I set up my puzzle, because there's no GCF, I have to do 3 times 2 to get 6 on top, 7 on the bottom. I know 6 times 1 is 6, and 6 plus 1 is 7. So those are the two numbers that multiply to 6, add to 7. I then divide by 3, reduce 6 over 3 to 2 over 1. And then I can use these fractions to set up my parentheses with 1x plus 2. And 3x plus 1. And just like when we were factoring, you can always check these answers by using FOIL in multiplying the binomials together. All right, in example 2. Now we're given each quadratic function in intercept form, and we want to convert to standard form. So it's basically factored, and we just need to multiply it out to convert to standard form, which in this case, we're going to just FOIL. Okay, so to convert intercept form to standard form, we're just going to FOIL or multiply these binomials together. So in part A, y equals x squared. The outer is plus 2x, the inner is minus 6x, and the last is minus 12. And then I can combine the middle x terms together. So positive 2 and negative 6 is negative 4. So I have x squared minus 4x minus 12. And I'm done. Same thing on part B. I have y equals, if I do outer, I have a 6x squared. Sorry, it's not the outer, that's the first. Now the outer is minus 15x, inner plus 2x, and last is minus 5. So y equals 6x squared minus 13x minus 5. All I did in that last step was combine the like terms, the negative 15x and the positive 2x. All right, we are flying through this lesson. What is next? Example 3. So just to recap so far, example 1, we started with standard form, converted to intercept form, which basically just was factoring. Then we worked backwards. We started with the factored form and just multiplied to convert to standard form. All right, in example 3, it says to write a quadratic function in standard form given two x-intercepts, 1, 0 and negative 5, 0. All right, we're given the intercepts, but we want it in standard form. We're not going to be able to go right from the intercepts to standard form, but what we can do is use the intercepts 1 and negative 5 to write it in intercept form first. So y is equal to x minus 1 and x plus 5. And if we're not given a value for a, we'll always use a equals 1. Now I can do the converting like I did in example 2 to make this into standard form. So if I FOIL, I get x squared plus 5x minus 1x minus 5. And that becomes x squared plus 4x minus 5. So that's it for example 3. We just had 2 steps. We started with intercepts, converted to intercept form, and then converted from intercept form to standard form. All right, last problem, example 4. We're given the quadratic equation y equals x squared minus 6x minus 27. This is in standard form, and we want to find the intercepts. So look at example 3. We started with intercepts, and we wrote it in standard form. Now it's backwards. We start with standard form. We want the intercepts. So if we look at that middle step in there, the middle step was using intercept form. So what I'm going to do is convert standard form to intercept form, and we can do that by factoring. Then once I have intercept form, I can find the intercepts. So what multiplies to 1 times negative 27, which is negative 27, and adds to negative 6? That'd be a negative 9 and a positive 3. So y equals x minus 9, because there was just a 1 in front, times x plus 3. And now that I have the intercept form, I can see that x would be equal to 9, x would be equal to negative 3. So my intercepts are 9, 0, and negative 3, 0. So just to conclude with this lesson here, example 1, we converted standard form to intercept form. Example 2, we converted intercept form to standard form. And then example 3, we just added an extra step in each of these examples 3 and 4, where we started with intercepts, put it in intercept form, then converted, started with standard form, converted to intercept form, then found intercepts. Make sure when you're doing any of these problems that you're just paying really close attention to the directions, and make sure you know that whenever you're converting standard to intercept form, you basically factor, intercept to standard form, basically use FOIL. That concludes our lesson on converting standard and intercept forms.